thing on. What up, YouTube? It's your boy Reese's here, hitting you up with another one. Whoa, wrote some stuff down. Today I want to go over some of the modifications that I've done to this car, and there are a lot of them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and try to rate them as like from a 0 to 5, 0 being the very poor to 5 being legit, like good stuff, So before I get into it, remember to like the video, subscribe, hit the little door or whatever bell button on there just to let you know when I put this crap out, because sometimes I just do it whenever. But anyway, let's just slide right into it. Why don't we talk about the progress suspension first? I'm gonna give that a 3 out of 5, because while it was a good upgrade, as soon as I put it in the car, it wasn't an upgrade in every single way. The car felt very uncomfortable on everyday roads. It felt mushy when I was trying to drive it kind of fast. So it wasn't a big improvement on the handling of the car until I really upgraded to Swift and iBox springs. So for that reason, I'm only giving it a 3 out of 5. I also called them before I upgraded to the springs, and I asked them. I said, "Hey, how much can your dampers handle? Can I go a little heavier?" And I had a few other technical questions for them, and it just didn't seem like they knew the answers. But other than that, it's a good coil. I've been told by Chris that it's a good suspension, but let's move on to the springs themselves. So I went ahead and got the Swift springs from Chris at Redshift and the iBox springs straight from iBox. I'm gonna give these bad boys a 5 out of 5, both of them. I mean, downright immediate improvement. I'm gonna post a link in the description here of when I switched out the rear springs and what a difference that was. I did do a before video of me trying to do a burnout with the front end. So maybe I'll do a follow-up. I'll put something together there for a later time. But as far as the response that I got from the car, I felt immediately more confident driving the car quickly. And even just daily driving, cruising on bumpy roads, the spring upgrade has been just absolutely tremendous. So for that, they each get a 5 out of 5. So since we're staying with suspension, I'm going to talk about the Progress rear sway bar. That's a 22mm rear sway bar. I bought it from Chris at Redshift. Again, starting to get to know the guy kind of well. But the sway bar was just one of those things you put on the car, and right away you knew you made a positive change on the way the car handles, the ride. It just goes on and on. But for the price, I think it costs like around $200. This is a must-have. Even if you don't autocross, even if you don't race, this car, from the first time I drove it, I just remember that it sucked at like just busting a UE, for example. And that I haven't had like regular cars in the past. I used to have a Mazda 3, and that thing from the factory was legit. Like, the thing could handle. Anyway, up next, I'm moving on to the Willwood 6-piston 2-piece rotor big brake caliper set, and I am gonna give these brakes, and these brakes are probably the best braking power I've had in almost any car. I used to have a Camaro 1LE. That thing had massive rotors, Brembos front and rear. That thing stopped on a dime. But these brakes are right up there with it, if not better. So I'm gonna give them a 2 out of 5. I'm gonna take a break because I just said all of that. I'm gonna give them a 2 out of 5. Well, why? It's not a complete kit. It just isn't. And I remember I put them on, and I said to myself, don't remove the the oil line from the old caliper until you know your wheels clear the whatever brake. And once I finally clear, I was like, all right, they're good. I'm gonna keep going. But then things got dark. I couldn't, you know, the OEM bolt for the brake line doesn't fit this brake kit. And I went to 4 different parts stores. I went through, you know, nuts and fitting store. I was even gonna call a place that deals with hydraulic lines, and I just said screw it. I ended up buying their optional, which they say is optional, but it isn't because you need them anyway. I ended up buying their brake line kit, which is an added cost. So having spent so much money already, I had to, you know, spend a bit more just to get the kit on. So in my opinion, that isn't totally fair. If you buy a brake kit, it should be right up front, like, hey, you know, you need these brake lines, and that should help you make a financial decision there. So I was thrown for a bit of a curve there. I actually even thought about selling them and getting like the TSX brakes from like a junkyard or something, because at that point I was just that frustrated with the kit. So for that reason, Willwood, you get a 2 out of 5. I'll probably do a more detailed breakdown on them after I track them. I hear a Subaru coming. Subaru. Anyway, so yeah, up next, I'm gonna talk about this bad boy right here. Where is it? Oh, there. Okay. The Merc Racing Supercharger kit. I'm gonna give that one a 6 out of 5. Yeah, a 6 out of 5. I know I said only 5, but it's my show and I can do whatever I want. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 5 because, again, it was an immediacy thing. I immediately knew this car was better, faster. I mean, like, I remember I drove and like after the tune and everything, and I punched it and I just told Jose, like, dude, this is like a teleportation device at this point. Like, it's a rocket, so that's why I call it the orange rocket. So yeah, actually, let me focus on that thing a little more. There it is. You see that thing? Beautiful. Anyway, but the biggest reason why I guess a 6 out of 5 is because there's no maintenance to it. I maintain this car the same way I maintain my wife's minivan. I do the oil changes, you know, I check the wiper fluid, make sure there's wiper fluid in the car, but the supercharger hasn't caused any added stress. I drive the car without any concerns, and you know, you can't beat that. For what I got out of it, you know, doubling the horsepower, you know, doubling the torque, maybe even more, you can't beat that. So for that reason, that thing gets a 6 out of 5. The last item on the list is the wheels and tires. I almost always forget about them because I'm not in love with the wheels necessarily. I thought the look was great when I ordered them online, but in person they didn't really sort of amaze me at all. But I actually just washed the car really nicely last weekend, and I really cleaned them up. And yeah, they, you know, when they're clean, they look fantastic. I'll post a picture here, just so you guys can see it. The tires. So before I move on, wheels get a 4 out of 5. Now to the tires. The tires, they get a 5 out of 5. The Nitto NT 555s are just an amazing tire. For the price tag, for the fact that they're not a hardcore like autocross or tracking tire, I get a ton of grip out of these. I mean, yeah, it's the summertime, and you know, yes, they're brand new, but I get a ton of grip out of these tires. And I've had some pretty beefy tires in the past, but I'm amazed at how much confidence the tires give me. And for that, I give them a 5 out of 5. I can't hate them. You know, I don't think I paid very much for them, but yeah, they give me confidence as a driver. So for that, I'll give the tires a 5 out of 5. Anyway, that about wraps it up for now. I guess I should do a part 2. There's some pieces in here that are missing, so that'll give me an opportunity to ramble a little bit more in a future video. But anyway, don't forget to like, comment. If you want to hear more about any of these mods or any mods that I didn't mention, go ahead, just hit the comment, and I'd be happy to cover some more. Thanks for watching. Peace, YouTube.